And what is up, everyone? It is Amin here once again from the A team. I know it's been a little while since we had one of these exchanges, and it does actually feel good to be back. I hope in the meantime you've been staying safe and you're enjoying some of the sun out there. I know quite a lot has changed in just a matter of a few weeks. I've been quietly observing in the background as I've been wrapping up all of these grades for the students at the center. So without any further ado, there's quite a few things to discuss. Let's hit the intro. The last time I spoke to you guys, we were still enduring this lengthy lockdown. So it's actually refreshing to see things are starting to ease up a lot more, even though it may not exactly be normality as we once had it. But things are starting to progress, and hopefully people will act conscientiously moving forwards. There have been a number of lives that have been affected by this thing. So it's really upon us to take a serious approach and look out for one another and protect our communities by acting responsibly. And maybe in the process of doing so, we can also perhaps avoid another future lockdown, unless you want to go through all of that again. I didn't think so. And on that note of community, something quite profound took place on the 25th of May. Now, I don't need to go into the specifics of it all, as I'm sure all of you are well too acquainted with the details. We can all see what's been happening around us, and emotions are flaring, and understandably so. What moved me on a personal level about this whole incident, in fact, you know what, let's not even delve into that. As a person, to witness how cheap a life is, it's a travesty. It makes me feel absolutely ashamed of being a human being, and seeing this unfold in the year 2020. In fact, this shouldn't be taking place in any era, period. So I thought I'd address this issue because I want young people out there like yourselves to understand there are times to stay silent and there are other times where you need to speak up. It's actually important that you guys get to have a say and get to be heard, because if any real change can take place, it will only come about through how you choose to act and embody the world around you. These old-timers, so-called leaders, are set in their ways, and this is exactly why the youth of today need to be able to speak up, step up, and really change the discourse of how you are ruled and governed. By you just doing this, it may not change the dire state of the world, but it sure as hell lets them know that number one, you have a voice. Number two, if there's enough numbers, it can have the ability to create a movement and show the power of numbers. And three, even if it doesn't immediately change the situation, it makes the opposition feel your presence, your power, which ultimately makes them question themselves and their decisions. Because try and think of it this way: when you have that big bully at school and nobody says anything due to being afraid of getting their head bashed in, so the more people that refuse to speak up, he takes their silence as a sign of weakness and a passive way of validating his position. In fact, strengthening it. Now, even if a scrawny kid decided to speak up and there was no way this kid can handle the bully all by himself, by this kid provoking him may make others around him feel the strength to stand up for themselves, and ultimately leading the bully to question himself, or at least change his strategies. And if the revolt is strong enough, it could even topple the bully. This is how some people behave in positions of power, and they will use your silence as a weapon in their favor, whether you wish to agree with it or not. Hey Nick, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
What are you up to?
I'm just preparing for the next lesson.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
So what are your thoughts about all of the racist stuff that's going on out there?
Well, I mean, personally it doesn't affect me much as being white. Nothing really has happened ever to me, but I have like loads of black friends or Asian friends or just other people who have experienced this kind of thing, and I just feel like my duty, and as young people in general, our kind of role is more to understand and support them in this time, because that's what everyone needs.
Can I just say, by the way, this guy, even though he looks white on the outside, he knows more Bollywood than I actually know, and he's more acquainted with Asian stuff than even myself. So yeah. The rage and the anger out there can be understood. People are tired of seeing this happening over and over again, and something clearly needs to be done about this. Now, I'm not telling you that you should be going out there looting and being violent, etc. And those are engaging in acts like this are clearly opportunists taking advantage of the situation solely for themselves. They're not in it to change anything, and these people have no respect for what's going on. Anyway, look, I don't wish to go off on a tangent here. What we need to do is to get serious. No, what we need to do is seriously get acquainted with the knowledge of what has taken place in history. History has a funny way of teaching us things. You see, racism isn't someone when they just say something to offend someone. That's not what I'm referring to here. Inherent racism is the discrimination against a group of people due to their race, ethnic minority, faith, culture, etc. And across the country and the world, racism is very much rife, and there are huge disparities and inequalities taking place. So putting up a social status or hashtagging Black Lives Matter won't necessarily solve it. In fact, it may just make you feel a little bit better, but it won't solve the bigger picture. We are in 2020, guys, and seriously, think about that for a second. We as a group of humans have reached such heights of progress where men can be sent to other parts of the solar system. We've recently managed to create hospitals from scratch in a matter of a few weeks. Our entire planet has come to a complete standstill to fight a microbe we cannot even see with our own eyes. Yet in 2020, there seems to be another disease floating around. In fact, this disease has been living with us for centuries, and there seems to be no cure in sight or vaccinations being developed for this. But you're sitting there and saying, Amin, wait just a second. What are you suggesting here? That I'm a racist? I don't have this disease in me that you're talking about. Look, nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, identifies themselves as a racist. Even a racist doesn't see themselves as being racist. I think we all need to take a long, hard look at ourselves and the preconditioning we've been exposed to as a child and how you grew up thinking of people in a certain light. This isn't just a black and white thing, by the way. Hitler was demonized for steering an entire nation into believing in their supremacy over others. It's ironic then, isn't it? The very colonial nations that defeated Hitler also had a tainted history of being the rightful master, the ones that were educating the so-called nomads, bringing civilization to the rest of the world. You see, nothing is ever black and white, and you need to stop other people dictating what you believe and how you are programmed. And on that note, guys, I hope you found this video to be informative in some way. I'd really greatly appreciate it if you could leave a comment down below. Just want to see where you stand on this topic. So don't be afraid of sharing your opinions on this. Also, I am looking to be creating some new content for this channel. So if there are any suggestions, then you can also leave it down below, or you can even DM me on Instagram and I'll take that into consideration. Make sure to do all of that, subscribing, liking, and maybe even share this video with others as well. My name is Amin, and I will catch up with you another time.